often share my story when it comes to fat loss, healing my relationship to food, learning how to strength train, learning how to be a fitness person, but I rarely tell my client stories. And I feel like when I post on the internet, right, on TikTok, on Instagram, on here even, I do a really good job of getting deep into like the sciencey stuff, the technical stuff, but I find that it's difficult for me to talk about the stuff that really matters, right? Because here's the thing, you start a fitness journey because you want to lose weight and you want to tone up and you want to look better, but you gain so much more than that. So I was thinking to myself, how can I transmit that to people? How do I tell these people's stories? And I was like, dude, I have to interview them. I have to do client testimonies. So the video that you're about to watch is my client Lauren. We've been working together for over 9 months now. Her story is incredible. I'm going to put up here her fat loss graph and her before and after. And you can see that together we've gone through a reverse. We've gone through a dedicated fat loss phase. Now we are going through her second reverse in preparation for her second fat loss phase. And I'm just excited for you to hear about her experience. And I hope that it can do a couple things. I hope that it can inspire you, but I also hope that it can help you decide if you're a good fit for coaching as well. Yeah, without further ado, meet my strong girl, Lauren. So who were you before coaching? Like, can you paint us a picture of what brought you to coaching, what it was that you were struggling with, what it was that you were looking for help with?
Sure. I've always been interested in health and fitness and just being the best that I can be. I have struggled with health along the way, not necessarily by diet or exercise or choices I've made, but just some chronic illness that I've dealt with. And so just trying to be consistent and strong and gain confidence in the gym and just in life is something that I wanted from this. And I also just do well with structure and kind of having this scientific approach toward something and really attacking it. So I think that's kind of why I thought this would work for me.
Did you like see the way that I posted online and you liked that the way that I spoke was like very science based?
Oh, totally. I followed you since the beginning and saw kind of your personal journey and also just how you were helping other people. And it took me until now to actually sign up and do it myself. But even before I was actually a client, I was still seeing your videos and following along and just realizing that this could be something that would be useful for me.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about working with you is that losing weight was like a side quest. Your main focus, and you made it clear from the beginning, you were like, I just want to get strong. I want to feel strong. I want to feel capable in my body. And you like explained to me what it felt like to, I don't know, feel helpless at certain points. And I was like, that's badass. And so from the beginning, it was always about getting strong for you. And honestly, I think that's why you've had like one of the coolest transformations that I've been able to assist. What did you think coaching would be like before you started? Like, did you have any expectations or pictures in your mind? And how was it different when you actually did it?
I think overall I was hopeful that it would be something that I really enjoyed doing and inspired me. But I think I was a little bit nervous at first. I don't ever want to be too, I guess, over analyzing myself in a way that can be unhealthy. And just, I was nervous about calorie counting and, like all of these things that can, if not done well, can be unhealthy. But the approach that we've taken has been all about the process and trusting the process and knowing that, like, it's okay to make mistakes along the way.
Yeah.
If we're not just trying so hard for this goal that's like the end point, like, I want this to be a lifestyle change. I want this to be something that I do forever. And I think something I'm surprised about is like how soon I'm seeing I would say, where we're actually showing up to the gym regularly every single week and, really getting the steps in and really getting the calories in the right range and the protein in the right range, so like I'm kind of thinking of it in chunks of like, yes, we started this 9 months ago, but, actually being consistent and seeing these changes has really just been in the last couple of months.
I always tell my clients, well, this has been like a theme that I've seen in myself and in my clients. The first like 3 months is just you getting your footing and getting good at showing up. I feel like it happens like in phases. You kind of like followed this like phasic way that I think about it perfectly. Let's say like the first 3 months you kind of start and your main priority is just showing up. So you're probably doing your check-ins consistently and you're showing up, but maybe you're not maximizing your like effort. So like you show up to the gym, but maybe you don't try that hard, but it feels good to show up. You're starting to like track your calories and you're starting to have better understanding of what's in your food. But again, it's not super like pointed, like I'm doing this for a specific purpose. After you gain some momentum there, then you're like, okay, now I'm going to start nailing nutrition. And then you started picking up steam because when you start nailing nutrition, the weight starts falling off relatively quickly. Every week you get that like confidence boost that, okay, I dropped another pound. Once you get to the end of your first fat loss phase, you peeled back your layers and you're like, dang, I'm not as muscular as I thought I was. And then you kind of start going ham with training, and that kind of brings everything together. So I think a lot of people, they're under this impression that you're going to start coaching and you're going to immediately start checking your boxes off perfectly. And I think that can do two things. It can scare people away from coaching because they feel like they need to be at a certain level of like commitment to start. Or two, it can like burn them out because the way that I explain it is you're in kindergarten right now and you're trying to jump to 12th grade to your senior year of high school. Like, no, like let's take those first 3 months where you're just getting your footing and fixing your mindset just as seriously as the nutrition block and the training block. What are some of your favorite aspects of working together that you didn't think would be your favorite?
Well, I love the training calls. Like, I get excited for them, and I didn't do them at the beginning. And, I think in a way, like we were just talking about in the previous question, it's like, I think it was a good flow, to kind of start out. I get familiar with the gym, I get familiar with how I'm feeling, and like getting used to seeing yourself on a screen doing something is weird. So I definitely started out just by sending progress pictures and form check videos, but having the scheduled calls makes you accountable also to be like, this is the time, like it's on the calendar. We're going to the gym at this time and Marina's waiting for me on the other end. So like I can't just skip out on it and get distracted by something else or whatever. So that's been really great. But I also just really love them. They're fun and I feel really good going in and I feel even better coming out. So those have been really awesome.
So for anyone listening, the calls, like training calls, they're not mandatory. But for some people, it just really works for them. So for whatever reason, Lauren was someone that just you really benefited from the training calls. Because at first you were sending me form checks. So if you're not doing training calls, you're sending me form checks. Like you're propping up your video and filming yourself and sending me yourself exercising. For some reason, that just didn't work as well for you. But a lot of people much prefer the form check. So keeping in mind that every person is so different. So I'm a different coach for everyone, and everyone needs me to be a different coach for them, or they need different things. Like you do really well with the written check-ins. Some people, they need check-in calls.
I was going to say, I really also like the training calls because it helps me actually push myself to the end. It's easy when you're just by yourself to be like, oh, that's all I can do, I'm done. But there are definitely times when I'm about to be like, I can't do anymore, and you say 2 more or 3 more. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But I can't.
And you think you can't, but you can.
I can do it. So that's been probably the most beneficial part of it is just pushing myself a little bit harder and
So Lauren is someone who she has specific goals, but she doesn't want bodybuilding or like building muscle to be her entire life like me. So we've been able not yet. So we've been able to like get her really like efficient 45-minute workouts. We're in and out. We do 4 exercises, 4 sets of each exercise, and we have time to giggle and talk in between. And we're getting stronger every week. So something that you and I talk about a lot is how you think that the reason why you get a coach is to teach you a bunch of new stuff, when really the reason why you get a coach is because 2 minds are better than 1, 2 heads are better than 1. A lot of coaches in the like training industry will be like, even good coaches need good coaches. Even a good therapist needs a good therapist. Even the best doctor in the world is specialized in something and needs help with something else. The reason why you get a coach is because you're paying for support, basically. A thought partner, pigging off of your idea about how you didn't expect to love the training call so much and how I'm able to push you. How would you describe coaching to someone who has never been coached?
I think this kind of ties into what we're just talking about too, where we have all the resources that we could ever want, really. I mean, if you think about anything that you want to learn how to do or get better at, there's probably a YouTube video for it. There's some kind of book you could find. Like, you could find access to these resources. You could join a gym, whatever. But if you don't have someone keeping you accountable and hyping you up at the same time, like, I think we often don't use those resources that we have available to us. And so having a coach that can check in weekly and not daily and just be a resource for any random question I have throughout the day or any realization I have throughout the day, like, I think that's wonderful that we not only have each other but also this group to, just be like, hey, like, here's what I had for lunch, or here's what I just realized, or I found this thing to be helpful for me. And so just kind of in general being social beings and wanting to provide support for each other and knowing that you're not having to do this by yourself.
What I like to compare it to is, personally, I didn't do sports in like middle school or high school, but I remember hearing other kids talk about doing sports, and they would talk about their relationship to their coach. And you realize that like there are some coaches that transform these young minds' lives because they're so much more than just coaching. Like, they're a peer, they're a mentor, someone to look up to. Like, we're supposed to have a relationship. Like, we're supposed to like each other. Like, I feel like a lot of people, when they think personal training, they think about like a drill sergeant that's like telling you what to do and yelling at you when you don't eat your veggies. But a good coach will create a relationship with you so that when you do have bad days, you can turn to me. And I notice sometimes clients will have like a fear of being reprimanded or like a fear of authority. And I'm like, where did you learn that? Where did you learn that failing equals punishment? You know?
Right.
But like, if you think about it, that's literally the education system.
I was about to say, we've all been, yeah.
So it's funny when a client fails, instead of me giving them an F, we have study hall. And I ask you, what can we change? Why isn't this working for you? And I think that's where a lot of people struggle a lot, is that at their first sign of failure, they use that as confirmation that they're not cut out for this, that they're not good enough, that this is just not on the cards for them. But with a coach, when you fail, I can be like, that's okay, next, you know? So I think that would be the main thing you would say to someone if they were like, what all comes with coaching is just basically the accountability portion.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, obviously all of the resources that you provided too, I mean, like making sure the form is actually right. I love the part where you talk more about like, I think you will feel it better if you do this. I love that because it's not like, oh, you're doing it wrong. It's more, maybe try it this way and you will see results better, or you will feel results better. And so I just really like that approach too.
Thank you so much. I literally got goosebumps because that's something that I'm so intentional about. The way that I form those sentences is on purpose. I make it a point to say, I think you will feel it better this way. Like, that's something that I've had to
Intentional
learn.
language. Intentional language is so important when you're learning, whether you're a child or a grown adult. Like, we need to hear things the way that we should be thinking about them. And I like that you're very consistent and intentional about the way that you speak to your clients. And it's like rewarding and helpful and inspiring because it's not like putting me down, but also like you're pushing me and you're telling me I can do it, even when in my brain I'm like, I don't think I can do this right now.
There's always like a kind way to deliver a truth.
Mm-hmm.
I can empower you, I can encourage you that you have more to give without making you feel like crap.
Right.
The opposite should be true. I should be empowering you, and that makes you want to give your best from the inside out. It's not, you're not being extrinsically motivated to produce, you're being intrinsically motivated. That's so good. That was a great point. One time you and I were talking, and I loved your point of view on not realizing how much the support piece of the puzzle was necessary until you finally got a coach. I think we've been hitting this point
Yeah.
since we started the call, but do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I like I said, dealing with a chronic autoimmune disease that has knocked me down a few times. I've said this to you before. I wish that I had had you my whole journey because I think there was a lot of time where I was just prioritizing living and just trying to do the best I could. But it would have been nice to also have gaining muscle and knowing what things to be eating that could be helping, reduce inflammation and help like build muscle and protein and all of the stuff that probably would have helped me. And basically when I approached this, I was thinking, if this ever happens to me again, I want to be more prepared than I was this time. And I had actually I like signed up for this with you, and then I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And so then we kind of had to start over and be like, I know I signed up with you a little while ago, but I have not started yet.
Yeah.
And now I really want to get started. And what better time than now than to like start from literally
Yeah.
nothing and work my way up. And I remember you saying something too, like, you're basically going to do anything and you're going to build muscle because you're starting from nothing. And so I think going in with that approach and not being like, oh, I have to have some kind of perfect goal by this point in time. It was just like I had a near-death experience and I was transitioning out of physical therapy and I wanted to build my strength. I wanted to fight. I wanted to be strong and confident and happy and live my life to the fullest. And my weight had fluctuated so much where it was like I was very underweight and then all of a sudden I was overweight and just like, just trying to find the healthiest version of myself and stop worrying about a number on the scale and more about how I actually felt in my body. And so, yeah, coaching in this way was like just part of my support system, including my therapist and my family and my friends and my partner and just like all of these things coming together and supporting me. And so it was more than just, I didn't realize it, but it was more than just getting physically fit for me.
A moment of silence. That was so good. I have so many thoughts. One, it's like you're creating a fortress around yourself so that it's basic. You've done such a good job. Oh my God, you're so cool. You're so resilient. You're so gracious the way you talk about your experience struggling with that. And yeah, you've like accepted the cards that you've been dealt. And it's really easy to be handed like a rough deck of cards and think, well, this is just how it's going to be. Let me just give up while I'm ahead. There's no hope anyways. And it's just so inspiring and like refreshing to hear you be like, no, I'm like you said in your own words, you're like, I'm going to fight. Like, what do you mean? I have no other choice. That's so badass. And if it does hit again, because it might, and you know that that's a possibility, you'll be better prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You're so cool. What was your main fear or reservation about starting coaching, if any?
I guess I just didn't want it to be another thing that I've been persuaded to pay for. And I think there's just so much of that constantly being like whether it's advertisements to buy something or whatever. I mean, this just really isn't that. And I think the reason I was hesitant was just like, oh, I don't want to just start paying for something that's not actually going to be necessary for me. But this isn't some kind of gimmick or trendy, like get fast, get fit fast kind of thing. Like, because you see those things all the time where it's like lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So it was clear to me that this would be more about the process and trusting the process, and this is something that I want my lifestyle to be. It's not about the destination. It's about like creating these systems that will work for me as I grow and I change. And obviously, I'm fortunate that I have flexibility in my schedule to do this, and all of the things. Like, there's so many factors in people's lives that make it really hectic and busy and hard to prioritize this. So I guess I just thought now is better than ever to do this, where I'm really recovering from something and I would like to be strong for the rest of my life. Yeah, I guess that was my fear, was just like timing and making sure that it wasn't just paying for something that was going to be draining money without actually, progressing or providing something for me. So.
When you like got on that call and you knew that on that call like you were going to say yes and we were going to get started, was there something that helped you, like that confirmed for you that you were making the right decision? Or did it feel scary the whole way through and it didn't really start being like, wow, this is what I thought I wanted it to be. Thank God it worked, until we were like a couple weeks into it?
I think you said stuff like, are you going to trust me? Are you going to trust the process? And something like that really stuck with me. And yeah, I mean, obviously you're gambling a little bit when you do something like this. You're putting in money and commitment to something before you actually get to see the results. It's not like a transaction where you just buy something and you get the goods and you leave. It's like, I'm saying to you, I'm willing to put in this much time and effort and energy into this relationship, and so are you. So let's hope we get something out of it. And so you're kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping. But I think honestly, just having that call with you, that's like the main thing I would recommend to people. Do the consultation. It's not going to hurt you, like to just have a conversation. I think a lot of people don't even know, like I didn't even know what I needed to do. I had no idea about the reverse and the calorie deficit, and like it's weird coming into a thing and you're like, I would like to lose weight, and it's like, okay, we've got to get your calories up first. That blew my mind. I didn't know that was what you needed to do. I think a lot of people think, oh, I need to eat less if I want to lose weight. And being able to eat more and still be losing weight right now is insane to me, and it makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah. It's so fun. Every time we raise your calories and you drop another pound and we're like, what's going on? No, but I love that. I love your points about it is a bit of a gamble. So you kind of just have to be brave and try something new. And I love how you followed me for a long time before you got on a consultation call. And then we still had 2 consultation calls before you decided you were like, okay, I really want to give this a fair shot. So for anyone out there listening, she made an informed, she took what is it called? An informed risk?
Yeah.
A calculated risk is what she took, that's cool to think about. And I guess like that's with anything in life worth pursuing. Buying a home is a calculated risk. It should be. I think I'll close out this interview with anything else you would say to someone who is on the fence about taking the leap.
I guess one more thing to say would be, I'm stronger right now. I'm more confident right now. I refer to a room in the gym as the big scary room, and then we had to kind of change what we majority is great.
Wow, I got a little emotional like several times. So cool. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
And we'll end it here.